we have a very, very incredible individual that we are bringing to you today live on our Power Hour. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Fasana Patel, and quite frankly, I am so incredibly excited to be here with all of you this afternoon. So the gentleman that I am so blessed and honored to be introducing to you today is a man that I simply met at a networking event in Ottawa, Ontario last year. Now, at this event, there were hundreds of people that had incredible energy. You know that like attracts like. And this gentleman and I had about 3 extremely deep conversations throughout the networking event. And you guys know how this goes. That's not something that's typically common, because when we're at networking events, everyone is just so focused on being social butterflies and networking with as many people as possible. But this gentleman and I, we acknowledge that we're a little different and that we really value quality over quantity. And so my friend, my business partner, and this incredible human being and beautiful soul, Mr. Ahmed Ali, who we all have the pleasure and privilege of learning from today. This gentleman is a life coach. He is a business coach. He is a breakthrough performance expert certified by the Life Mastery Institute. And he is here to teach us about how we can manifest a life of harmony with our soul's purpose. So you already know he's speaking my language. I already know he's speaking our language. And I am so incredibly excited, as you can probably tell, to hand the mic over to my dear friend, my colleague, my partner, Mr. Ahmed Ali. My friend, the floor is yours. Welcome, and thank you for being here with us today.
Fasana, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Not only with my new Asera family, but also with anybody else who's joining us live through Facebook or on the Zoom call. I'm a big believer that things do happen for a reason. Everything happens for a reason in our life. And all of us being on this call, whether by chance or out of the blue, it is for a reason. So my goal today is to share with you some of my experience through my coaching business and throughout my life as well, some tips and techniques, and also to share with you some of my mistakes and vulnerabilities and help you to avoid them in your path to progress in whatever endeavor that you're going through. So without further ado, I'm going to share a screen from mine because I have a presentation. So I'm going to do share, just to make sure. And it is here. Yes, and I'm going to share. Excellent. And we'll go into presentation mode. And here we are. Okay, fantastic. All right. So as my wonderful friend Fasana said, my name is Ahmed Ali, and I'm a life and business coach. I focus on improving the human performance individually and within organizations. I just have a passion for organizations and teams and people to work together to the best of their potential and to uncover their potential. And that will only happen when we are actually grounded and finding our purpose and radiating not only love, but confidence and purpose from within rather than from outside. So what I want to talk to you about today, I'd like to share with you something called the power of vision. I want to share 3 keys to mastering every result and every desire you want to manifest in your life. Now, I always believe that we speak many languages in life. We speak the language that we learn from our parents. We speak the language that we learn maybe from the country we grow up in or the TV program that we watch, etc. But I also believe that there is one language that if we learn the pattern of its working, it will make every difference in our life. And that is called the language of success. So what I want to share with you today is some of the tips and some of the principles that are guiding and making the core foundations of this language and how you can speak it in your everyday life. Now, if I was to ask you to raise your hands and tell me if you have an area in your life that you want to improve, anything, whatever it is. And to give you a hint, that would be if you were breathing, then definitely there's an area in your life that needs improving, okay? Now, I want to ask you to keep your hand up or raise it if you have actually achieved the goal in the past, yet you never knew exactly all the steps that were involved in achieving that goal, all right? Maybe you found your life partner. Maybe you started a business and you succeeded in it. Maybe you achieved an academic degree or purchased the car or the house of your dreams, etc. Whatever it is, you achieved the goal, but you didn't know every single step that was involved. So what would that tell you? That would tell you that we are actually capable of far more than we know we are capable of. And maybe that will make us feel good, like this big guy over here. All right. Now, I'm a big believer that our dreams and goals are often born out of the challenges that we face. You see, we're always attracting the experiences and the challenges that we need for our growth. Because in life, there is no steady state. You can't be in cruise control. This is a myth that a lot of people actually grow up into it and thinking that, okay, once I get this job, once I get this business level, once I find this partner, then I can just relax back, sit on the couch and just cruise throughout my life. No, in life, you're either growing and evolving or diminishing in potential and contracting, okay? And there are two signals that actually will tell you that you are going through growth in life. The first one is longing. What is it that we are longing for in life? What is it that we wish to actually have and acquire in our life? That could be in terms of material things, that could be in terms of relationship, that could be in terms of personal achievement or a specific mindset. I want to be happy. I want to be looking forward to starting my day every day and not just, fall a victim of the circumstances or thoughts or news or something that comes up. The other one is discontent. What is it in my life that I am unhappy with, would like to reduce or even eliminate altogether? That could be stress. That could be insufficient levels of income. That could be unhappy relationships, anything of that, or unhealthy body, whatever it is. What is it that I'm longing for to achieve? And what is it that I'm looking for to reduce? Having very clear knowledge of these two things really indicates your signals for growth. Reverend Michael Beckwith said, we are often pushed by pain until we are pulled by vision. So there is a point in time where we'd be actually experiencing and chugging along, doing everything that we've done in life. And it reaches a breaking point where we say, that's enough. And from that point onward, we start actually changing our life and making improvements. But the question is, when does this point come in your life? Have you ever heard the saying, many people live 90 years or 80 years while other people live 1 year 90 times. They just keep repeating the life that they're going through. So I want to share with you one of my stories, which I think is very relevant to the concepts that we're talking about today. About 12, 13 years ago, we were renting an apartment, myself, my wife, and my daughter, who was 2 years old at the time. And it was my intention to get involved in real estate investing. I didn't know how to go about it. I didn't know what to do. I honestly didn't know what a mortgage application involved, but I just knew that I needed to improve my life. I needed to improve my wealth, and real estate, I wanted to go into it. And at that time, we were renting an apartment and we had decided to actually buy a house. The market was doing well. So me feeling very confident, I decided, you know what? I'm going to give my 1 month notice and we'll go out and search for a house. Sometimes you think maybe you should be doing things the other way around. Find a place and then actually give your 1 month notice to your landlord. Anyway, so we go out looking for a place. It took us 14 days that we couldn't find a place that we would call actually home. All right. On the 15th day, my wife is tired. My daughter is sleeping in the car. We walk into a model home. I walk into a model home and my wife says, I can't be bothered. You go in. And I go in and it's the house. And I come out and I say to her, you got to see this, you know, this is the house that we would like. So she goes in, she comes out smiling, happy wife, happy life. And we're thinking, yes, we're going to go to the builder the next day and we're going to put a down payment on this model for a new build. Well, guess what? We go to the builder office and they say to us, you won't get this house for another 9 months. So we're very confident that things are working our way. We say, yeah, we sign the contract, give them the deposit. And then we go back to the landlord and say, we want to extend the tenancy for another 9 months. I mean, which landlord wouldn't extend their rental for 9 months? Well, the landlord had other ideas and he said, no, you have to be out in less than 2 weeks because I already sold the apartment and you need to be out. So this is our predicament now, where we have less than 2 weeks. We have to find a place. If anybody's going to rent us a place for 9 months, it's going to be more expensive than any rental, or maybe it's equal to a mortgage payment or 2 mortgage payments. And what are the chances of finding such a place? Okay, so we go out not knowing what our chances of success are. 4 days before the eviction date, I kid you not, 4 days, we walk into an office for a builder, and they had an immediate occupancy house, but that house was purchased by another lady about 12 days before. Her circumstances has changed. She had passed the 10 days grace period and she couldn't return the house. So she needed to offload the house to somebody and we were there. Now, many people will say, this is a coincidence or this is just out of the blue. But reality is, this is neither a coincidence nor out of the blue. This is a clear vision, a burning desire for that vision, and action steps taken in the direction of that vision. That resulted actually in that house being the first of many properties that we have now for our very successful and thriving real estate portfolio. Which takes me to looking at life in full spectrum and all the results that we achieve in our life. I really believe that they fall into 4 quadrants. The first one is health and well-being. How is your health? How are you feeling about yourself? How is your body, your shape, whatever it is? Is it something that you are in love with? Is it serving your purpose, your desires? Okay, is it serving the stresses and the demands in your life? The second one is relationships. How are your relationships? Not only just with your spouse or with your significant other or with your kids, but even with the people that you see at work or you're doing business with, or maybe the people you're interacting with in the street. The other one is vocation, or we call it work. Are you doing what you like to do? Did you see yourself doing this all your life? Is it fulfilling? Is it bringing out the best in you? And this is, by the way, vocation is we spend probably 2/3 of our living time in or at doing. The fourth one is time and money freedom. How are you rewarding yourself? You got to remember there is a balance in everything. Spirit loves fun, but also loves growth and vice versa. How are you rewarding yourself? Are you taking the time off? Are you spending on yourself with your desires, or you're holding back for someday, you know? Now, a lot of people think that these things are not interrelated, but in fact, they're all interconnected and dependent on each other. Because if one quarter or one quadrant is not working well, then all other 3 will be affected accordingly. For example, if your health is not doing well, then definitely your work is not going to be, you're not going to be creative at your work. Your relationships might start suffering, and your time and money freedom will definitely take a toll of it. If your relationship is not good, you might think, okay, I'm going to focus on my work and I'm just going to dive in there and spend all my life there. But sooner or later, the results will start showing, and that will affect your health. And then it will affect even what rewards you're getting in life, etc. So all these things are interrelated. The problem is, many times, many people, and even myself, long time ago, we focus on one thing and we put all our energy in that quadrant. And then we hope that life will take care of the other things And we just chug along waiting for an external factor, an external change that will actually improve things. While in fact, everything is up and down to us. Which takes me to what I call the results formula. Your thoughts create your feelings. If I'm thinking positive thoughts, I'll feel happy, you know? If I'm thinking negative thoughts, I'll feel depressed, dejected, not optimistic. Your feelings drive your actions. If I'm feeling positive, then I'm going to go do constructive things. I'm going to do creative things. If I'm feeling negative, I'm just going to complain, whine about life, and look for the negativities in life to reassert my feelings and my thoughts. And your actions will create your results, which is what we call our environment. Okay, so thoughts create feelings, feelings drive your actions, and your actions will create your environment, your results. Cause, cause, cause. However, majority of people will look at it the other way around. They'll look at it the opposite way. They'll look at their environment and they'll say, these are my results. This is the conditions that I have. So really my hands are tied. What am I going to do? And that leads to the feelings of being robbed of chances or unfairness, and then to the thoughts that life is not worth it, it's depressing, and my ceiling is limited with whatever chances I have. I'll give you an example. You could look at people who are looking for jobs, okay? You could look at people who have had bad relationships in their lives. You could look at people who had failures in businesses, or hiccups, I would say, not failures. You look at these things, and then these start identifying and defining your environment. And from there, you start determining, well, these are only the actions I'm going to take. I'm not going to find jobs. There's too much competition. I'm not going to find the right partner. All the good ones are gone. I'm not going to start another business because there you go. I failed and I'm doomed to fail because. And this is the language that we hear continuously from people who are looking for excuses not to do something about their lives, not to take ownership. One of the first concepts, one of the first principles that Jack Canfield wrote about in his book, The Success Principles, he mentions 67 principles. The first one is taking 100% ownership of your actions and your results. And reality is, everything starts with the thought. Everything is driven with the thought, and what thoughts and what thinking we have that is running throughout our day and our life. Ralph Waldo Emerson says, a person is what he thinks about all day long. So we are literally the combination of our thoughts and this internal dialogue that happens. Now, if you ever listen to Dr. Joe Dispenza, you'll see him actually explaining this very clearly, and he has done many scientific studies on that subject. And a lot of people would say, no, it's actually the physical, the feelings that create the thoughts. Reality is, we could be so ingrained in this pattern of negative thoughts that our body would start picking up on the negativity of the thoughts, get so adjusted to the biological feeling of feeling down, feeling disappointed, unmotivated, that as soon as any challenge or any idea comes to our mind, our body reacts so quickly that it feels like it's in autopilot, and this is what drives our life. It looks like it's the physical or the biological reaction, but reality is it's the thoughts, okay? So the first key that I want to discuss with you here is designing your vision. Everything is created twice. Everything is created twice. The clothes that we're wearing, the chair that I'm sitting on, the house that I'm sitting inside, everything. Somebody thought about it and put an idea in their mind, then put pen to paper and put it on paper, created that and manifested it into a physical form. So everything you want to create in your life, no matter what it is, whether it is material or whether it is a relationship or whether it is a status, a wealth status, etc., This is all created in the mind first, then it comes to fruition. Clarity is the most powerful thing that you can do to actually serve your purpose. You can never be driving aimlessly. You will not do that, actually. You would not get into your car and just drive without any destination. And we do these things and these principles subconsciously for what does not challenge our life, does not challenge our limits and our comfort zone, and without questioning. But then when it comes to actually achieving success or pushing ourselves outside our envelope of comfort, we start questioning it and say, well, you know, it doesn't work out that. But reality is, from the moment you wake up and you get on, you start doing your things, you have a vision of where you want to go. You have a vision of what you're going to be dressing up as. You have a vision of what you want to do at work. The same thing applies to everything that you want to create in your life. Did you know that only 5% of the people can answer the question of what's your income by the end of the year and what will be your net worth at your age of retirement, if you retire, obviously? Only 5% of the people. And these are the 5% of the people that actually hold the majority, 95% of the money in the world. Why? Because people don't pay attention to that. People have no vision of what they want to achieve, what they want to create. They leave it to best chances, best effort. Reality is, we're not leaving it. We're actually creating a vision of blurred image, blurred results. You know, if I was to ask you, give me something that makes me happy, well, what would your response be? You would say, well, what is it? I say, no, just give me anything that makes me happy. Well, what do you want? Do you want something that makes you happy in the morning, in the evening, blah, 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 whatever it is. The same thing with what our visions are and what we're requesting out of life. When we are setting an intention, and we're always setting an intention, this is something that is always at work. But when we are sending an unclear intention to the universe, we're getting an equally ambiguous answer. And you'll see that in the results of people who have no clear destination and no clear intention of where they're going. So you might ask, what does it mean holding the vision? Holding the vision means from the moment you gain consciousness, from the moment you wake up and you go into consciousness, I want you to hold that vision and put it center of everything that you do in your day, because that will translate into the actions, the interactions, the people that you're going to attract, and the chances and the opportunities that you will see. Hence, why we are sitting all here in this Zoom call. Nothing happened by chance. We all attracted this to ourselves because we are actually at a certain vibrational level that brings the caliber of people, the caliber of consciousness and awareness to these gatherings, all in the interest of serving all of us and bringing us higher. Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So I like the example that was used in the book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, where the author said, Joseph Murphy, he said, the world, the universe deals with success like a recipe. It's a recipe. You follow the recipe, you get success. But at the same time, there is a recipe for failure. You follow that recipe and you get failure, okay? Or you don't get success, whatever you want to define it, right? So the point is, we are never not creating. That's a double negative. We are always creating. We are always creating. Any moment, any time you think you are not creating something, absolutely not. I stand corrected. I want everybody to get this idea. We're always creating something. The question is, what is it that we're creating? Wayne Dyer says in his presentations, one of the most valuable presentations that I ever listened to, he said, once you realize that your thoughts manifest into things, you will be very careful about what you're thinking about and what you're putting in your mind. What an amazing thought, okay? Now, I always use this example and I say, Olympians or athletes who want to be Olympians, they put in their mind from the moment that they are qualified to be in the Olympics, they act, behave, eat, train, sleep like an Olympian, okay? They don't wait to the moment that the opportunity comes and then they'll say, I'll step up to it. No. From the day that they knew they'll be going for that, they act as if they're on the podium. And that's why you see in the difference between the different performances is within a fraction of a second, because these people have topped their game and pushed themselves to the ultimate that they can achieve. So the same thing, whenever we're actually having a vision, we need to embody it and live from that vision. Raise ourselves to the vibrational level of that vision, because only that, and I remember Fasana mentioned that in her global talk a few days ago, she alluded to that, is that only when we are at the vibrational level and the frequency that translates to the results that we desire, then we can see these results. Okay. Genevieve Berrand said, nothing can prevent your picture from coming into concrete form except the same power that gave it birth, and that is yourself. She wrote a book, Your Invisible Power, a very recommended reading. The second key is the power of decision. Now, a decision is a commitment. It's an unwavering step towards achieving your goal. It's not saying, I'll try and see what happens. No, it's believing that I will do whatever it is, regardless of everything. It's standing at the bottom of the mountain and looking at that lighthouse, your goal at the top, and knowing and acknowledging that you won't be able to figure out everything or all the steps in there, but you know where you're going and you decided, I'm going to go there regardless, and I'm going to take decisions according to the 20 feet that I can see. And these 20 feet will lead me to the next 20 feet. Les Brown says, just answer the what and don't care about the how. Don't worry about the how. The how is none of your business, but you have to set the intention, have the vision, and then make the commitment, the decision to actually act on it. Now, a lot of us actually driving, and this is a car engine. This car engine would maybe be revving at 800 revolutions per minute. That's like 16,000 cycles of fire, and exhaust, and air, and fuel. And you would get into your car and you would drive to whatever city, you would drive from Toronto to Florida and back, and you would expect it to work. Why? Because it is a product that was designed to actually work and deliver 100% of the time. Now, you wouldn't go to a car dealership and buy a car that is advertised working 70% of the time, would you? No, because this is called an inferior product. It doesn't deliver on what it promises to. Now, I take that and I give it back to you and I ask you the question. If we are not giving 100% of our effort towards the goals that we have in life, wouldn't that make us the inferior product in the way of our success? Wouldn't that affect our ability to do that and achieve what we want to do? The other concept I want to bring in here is when a farmer puts a seed in the ground, the farmer, he or she, will actually prepare the ground, till it, give it fertilization, put the seeds, and then he would keep looking after the ground. And that's it. There is a process beyond the farmer's control that takes care of transforming that seed into a plant that will produce fruits. Now, how about if the farmer would put his finger every day, take out the seed, check if it's grown, is it really working? No, put it back in the ground. And he would do it this day after day, day after day. Within that, disable its chances of actually growing and becoming a full-fledged plant? This is exactly what we would do when we are doubting ourselves, when we have the vision, when we make the commitment, when we take the decision to take action, yet we're always doubting ourselves. Is it going to work? Is it going to work? Is it going to work? Again, it comes back to the thoughts. Every time we do that, we're actually taking that seed out and preventing its chances from growing. So there is a process behind this. What life expects from us, what the universe expects, is that we do our best with what we have, with the chances, with the tools that we have. What is it that I can do from where I am to get to where I want to be? And the rest of the universe will just conspire to help you, using the words of Tony Robbins. Now, we have to acknowledge that just like there are physical laws, if I take a pen and I drop it, gravity, it's immediate. There are also universal laws, laws of the universe, law of receiving and giving, law of attraction. There are, I think, 17 or 18 different laws. Now, while their results might not be immediate, they are imminent. I can promise you that. So the question here is, how well aligned are we with the laws of the universe that we are actually allowing ourselves to achieve the success and get to the results that we want to achieve? Now, please bear in mind, when we are talking about success, we're not just talking about wealth. In fact, success attracts money and not the other way around. And really, success is actually the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Anything that you do from one day to the next that improves you on the day before, you are successful. And you'll realize no matter how much money you acquire, no matter how many people you know, no matter how much wealth you accomplish, at the end of the day, it's all about happiness. And happiness at the bottom of it is peace of mind. And if we don't have peace of mind, it doesn't matter what dollar number we have next to our bank account. So how well are we aligned to the laws of the universe, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in action, whether it's in holding back, or whether it's in giving, that is allowing us to achieve our goals? I'll give you an example. You come in one day into your house, you switch the light on, and the light doesn't come on. What would you do? The first thing you're going to check is you check if the light bulb is broken, then you go and check if the switch is broken. You never say there is no electricity. Maybe you'll check it if you don't see everybody else having no electricity, but you never raise your arms and say, well, God doesn't want me to have light. Because there is a law of electricity. There are ways that some things are done in that way to achieve certain results. How well are we aligned with that? Or are we just keep on fighting it and trying to prove a point? Or maybe hiding behind some of our fears rather than proving a point? Jim Rohn says it very nicely. He says, we are pulled in many directions. We're pulled by the past events. See, this is a concept that I came to realize, and it's beautiful, and it gives you so much power and control over your life. You realize that every moment in time, all of your thoughts, or a big portion of your thoughts, is with the past. Things that you've done wrong, people that you've wronged, even if people you've apologized to. Sometimes just remembering things makes you feel cringing and okay, or things that didn't work out, or failures, etc. The other thing is, we're pulled to the side by the distractions. I mean, we're living in a society now where there are so many distractions, so many things happening. The events that we're going through in the last few months, how do you decipher what's good and what's not good? How do you take control of your life? And then we're halted in the present by the fear of the future. We're concerned about what's going to happen. We're worried about, if I do this, will it work or will it not? Having a clear goal, having a vision will always pull you forward. It's a beautiful thing. It's that thing that wakes you up in the morning, even before the alarm goes off. And then you just get up there and you do it. You do it no matter what. And you're just happy. And people will look at you and you will say, where do you get this energy from? How are you doing this? But it just happens, Les Brown says, don't be casual about your dreams, or you will end up being a casualty. Again, I go back to, we're always creating something. We're always creating something. We can never deny this fact. Mel Robbins wrote a book, it's called The 5-Second Rule. And she said that the moment you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must physically move within 5 seconds, because your brain will stop you. The brain is so clever at making you get out of your initial intention and find any excuse in your life to divert your attention and say, oh yeah, you can do it later on, or why are you disturbing the peace? You know, your life is good as it is, or maybe you should do the laundry first, or organize your basement, etc. You know, you are never going to do something that you are never ever going to feel like it, ever. Okay, whatever is good for you, whatever is good for our success, whatever is good for our development, it makes us feel uneasy, and it's required to push us. This is where we're pushing against our comfort zone, but we'll never feel like it. Yet we have to act on it because we know it's good for us. So you need to adopt new habits to achieve newer results. Otherwise, if you keep doing the same thing, you know, you're going to get the same results. One thing I want to mention here is there was a movie that I watched once. It's called In Search of Greatness. And it talks about 3 legends, Gretzky, Pele, and Jerry Rice, who's the football wide receiver. And it talks about what was their thinking? What were they thinking about when they grew up as kids? What were their habits? What were the things that they do? And one thing that caught my attention, Wayne Gretzky, he said when he was 4 or 5, I think, he would watch a hockey game and he would get a piece of paper, draw the rink on it, and then he would follow where the puck is with a pen on the paper. And that allowed him over the years to actually have an instinctive feel of where the puck is always going to be or where it will be. And this allowed him to position himself and not be knocked over and actually be the great one that he is. The other one is Jerry Rice. What Jerry Rice did, he would lie in bed and he would hold the ball in his hand and then turn off the lights, and he'd be passing the ball in the darkness from one hand to the other. And that allowed him to build an instinctive feel of how to receive the ball, even without looking at it. And this helped him in one of the things that helped him to be the legend that he is. So one thing I like to always mention is that there was a study once, and it looked at the power processing of the brain compared to computers. And the conclusion was that the brain, yes, the brain cannot outpower in terms of calculations, what computers can do for serial calculations. Like you've got so many numbers and you have to calculate them one after the other, whatever the operations are. However, they found that the brain is able to process non-related information. I'll give you an example. You drive into an intersection, and within a fraction of a second, you can actually pinpoint where the danger points are and where you're safe to go. That's one example. So they did an extensive study, and they found that the brain will actually outpower or outcalculate the multiple computers when it comes to non-parallel computations, okay, and processing of images and information. And take this, it does it when they looked at the power consumption, it would consume the equivalent of a light bulb compared to the same computers doing the same calculation, consuming the equivalent of a house. So what you have between your ears is amazing resource, amazing resource. Do never ever underestimate what you have here and think, you know, I'm not clever or I can't do that, or you'll be amazed. The third key and the most important key is befriending your fear. Now, many times you go to seminars, you go to workshops, you listen to someone talking and you feel motivated and you say, yes, I can do it. And you come out so excited. Then you wake up the next day and your face is like that. And you're thinking, what if I fail? What if you fail? I'll share with you something. One day I was at a training workshop for a few days, and I was feeling good. And it was at the beginning of my coaching career. Then I opened the magazine and I saw all these coaches who were very well established, and they had all these accolades. And immediately I had an anxiety. Who am I to be comparing myself with these people? What can I do, or how long it's going to take me? But these are all